The Silent Watchers. The Antarctic wind howled across the research station as Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readings on her tablet for the third time. The data couldn't be right, yet there it was, regular geometric patterns buried 2 kilometers beneath the ice, far too precise to be natural formations. "Director Reynolds, you need to see this," she called out, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The discovery would change everything they thought they knew about Earth's history. The excavation began within hours. As the drill pierced through ancient ice, Sarah's team detected energy signatures unlike anything recorded in human science. When they finally broke through, they found it, a vast chamber of gleaming metal, untouched for millennia, covered in writings that matched no known human language. Within days, similar discoveries emerged worldwide. Hidden chambers in the Mariana Trench, beneath the Sahara, and inside the Himalayan mountains. Each contained identical technology, all powered by an unknown energy source that had remained active for thousands of years. The global scientific community scrambled to make sense of the findings, but it was the message encoded in the chamber's central computers that shook humanity to its core. They weren't alone. They never had been. The chambers were observation posts, left by an organization calling itself the Galactic Assembly. Humanity had been watched, studied, and monitored since the first civilizations arose. Every major historical event, every technological breakthrough, every cultural shift, all documented and analyzed by unseen observers. But it wasn't humanity's technological progress they were monitoring. It was something else entirely. 3 months after the initial discovery, as Sarah worked late in the Antarctic facility, the first contact happened. The chamber's ancient systems suddenly activated, projecting a holographic message throughout every discovery site simultaneously. The message was simple: the observation period has concluded. Prepare for evaluation. Within hours, massive ships appeared in Earth's orbit. They made no hostile moves, but their presence sent global military forces into high alert. The vessels dwarfed anything humans had ever built, their surfaces covered in the same strange writings found in the observation chambers. Sarah found herself quickly appointed to the hastily assembled First Contact Committee. As one of the leading experts on the discovered technology, she was among the first humans to meet the Assembly's representatives. The aliens were diverse in form, some humanoid, others completely alien, but all shared one common trait: they seemed deeply uncertain about humanity. "Your species," spoke the Assembly's lead representative, a tall, crystalline being who introduced itself as Elder Vax, "has developed in ways we never anticipated. Your neural patterns are unique." Sarah noticed how the alien delegates kept their distance, their bioreadings showing signs of what their xenobiologists interpreted as anxiety. Something about humans made them deeply uncomfortable. As negotiations proceeded, Sarah began to understand why. The Assembly had been monitoring humanity's brainwave patterns for millennia, watching as they evolved in unprecedented ways. Unlike any other known species, human minds showed signs of an emerging collective consciousness, a shared psychic potential that remained largely dormant but grew stronger with each generation. "Your kind was never meant to develop this way," Elder Vax explained during a private meeting. "The patterns we've observed, they shouldn't be possible. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our records." But it was what they discovered in Sarah's own neural scans that truly alarmed them. Her prolonged exposure to the ancient chambers had accelerated something, awakening abilities that shouldn't exist. In the middle of a routine medical examination, she accidentally projected her thoughts into the minds of everyone in the room. The Assembly representatives immediately called for an emergency session. Their anxiety was palpable now, and Sarah could feel their fear without even trying. Humanity wasn't just another emerging civilization, they were something entirely unexpected, potentially dangerous. As Sarah sat in her quarters that night, watching the alien ships through her window, she felt something stirring in her mind. Connections forming, awareness expanding. And she wasn't alone. Across the globe, other humans who had worked in the ancient chambers were experiencing similar changes. The assembly had watched humanity for millennia, studying them like specimens in a vast experiment. But they had never expected their subjects to evolve beyond the confines of their observation. Now, as humanity began to awaken to its true potential, the Watchers found themselves facing a force they neither understood nor could control. And this was only the beginning. The Silent Watchers had inadvertently triggered something that would reshape the galaxy forever. Humanity was awakening, and their dormant power was about to change everything. The awakening. The Assembly's orbital fleet had doubled in size over the past week. Sarah watched the massive ships through the reinforced windows of the Antarctic facility, their hulls reflecting the auroral lights that danced across the polar sky. But she wasn't just seeing them with her eyes anymore, she could feel them, sense the thousands of alien minds aboard, their fear and uncertainty radiating like heat in the cold night. The changes had spread faster than anyone anticipated. What began with the research teams at the ancient sites had cascaded across the globe. Millions of humans were experiencing the awakening, their dormant abilities suddenly sparking to life. Children were the most affected, their younger minds adapting quickly to newfound telepathic abilities. The pattern is exponential, Dr. Marcus Wong reported during the emergency UN session, his hologram flickering in conference rooms worldwide. Every awakened mind seems to trigger a cascade effect in others. It's like humanity's consciousness is a vast network, and we've just found the power switch. The assembly was no longer even trying to hide their panic. Elder Vax had been replaced by Commander Zin of the Vrax, a species known for their militant approach to galactic security. The crystalline ships of the diplomatic fleet were now dwarfed by the darker, more angular vessels of the Vrax peacekeeping force. Your species represents an unprecedented threat to galactic stability, Zin declared during what was supposed to be a diplomatic meeting. These abilities were never meant to manifest in primitive species. The containment protocols dash. The commander caught himself, but Sarah had already glimpsed the thought in his mind. Containment. They had contained humanity before. The revelation spread through the awakened human consciousness like wildfire. Fragments of buried memories, glimpses of ancient truths, humanity had been deliberately held back, their true potential sealed away by assembly protocols hidden in the observation posts. But now those protocols were failing, and humanity was remembering. Sarah found herself at the center of a growing storm. Her abilities had developed faster than most, perhaps due to her early exposure to the ancient technology. She could now communicate telepathically with anyone on Earth, coordinate with other awakened humans across vast distances, and even perceive the quantum possibilities that rippled through spacetime. The Vrax response was swift and aggressive. They established a quarantine zone around Earth, claiming it was for the galaxy's protection. But Sarah and others like her could sense their true intentions. The Vrax hadn't come to contain humanity, they had come to eliminate what they saw as an existential threat. The first attack came without warning. Vrax ships targeted the ancient observation posts, attempting to destroy what they believed were the sources of humanity's awakening. But they didn't understand, the sites weren't the source of human potential, only the keys that had unlocked it. Humanity's response shocked the galaxy. As Vrax weapons fired, millions of awakened minds joined together instinctively. The collective consciousness that the assembly had feared became a shield of pure thought and will, deflecting energy beams and missiles through sheer psychic force. Impossible, Zin's thoughts radiated shock and fear. Their power level exceeds anything in our records. How can primitives dash? Sarah stood at the Antarctic facility, her mind linked with countless others across the globe. Through their shared consciousness, she could see the entire battle unfolding simultaneously from millions of perspectives. Humanity wasn't just defending, they were evolving, learning, adapting in real time. The Vrax attack lasted less than an hour before they were forced to retreat. Their mighty warships, capable of destroying entire planets, had been repelled by the combined mental energy of a species they had dismissed as primitive. But victory came with a price. The mass awakening had revealed more questions than answers. Why had humanity been contained? What was the true purpose of the observation posts? And most importantly, what were they becoming? In the aftermath of the battle, as the Vrax fleet regrouped at the edge of the solar system, Sarah received an unexpected message. It came not from the Assembly or the Vrax, but from something far older. A presence that had watched humanity even longer than the Assembly, waiting for this moment. The time has come, the message resonated in the collective consciousness of awakened humanity. Your containment was not to limit you, but to protect you until you were ready. Now, you must learn the truth about your origins. As Sarah shared this message with the human leadership, she could feel the ripples of change spreading through the galaxy. The awakening wasn't just changing humanity, it was about to change everything. The Silent Watchers had failed in their containment, and now the galaxy would have to face what humanity was truly meant to become. The hidden truth. The message had come from Mars. Not from the surface, but from deep within the planet's core, a signal that had waited billions of years to be heard. As humanity's collective consciousness expanded, they had finally become sensitive enough to receive it. Sarah stood in the newly discovered chamber beneath the Martian surface, her mind linked with the global human network as they processed what they were learning. The holographic displays showed truth after devastating truth about humanity's origins. They weren't natural evolution. They were engineered. Your species was created to be different, the ancient AI explained, its thoughts interfacing directly with humanity's collective consciousness. The architects designed you to transcend the limitations that bind other species to physical form. The architects, a civilization so advanced they had transcended physical existence eons ago. They had seeded the galaxy with life, experimenting with countless species. But humanity was different. They weren't just another experiment, they were intended to be successors. The Assembly hadn't been containing a primitive species. They had been unknowingly guarding a weapon of unimaginable power. The Vrax know this now, Sarah shared through the network. That's why they're gathering their entire fleet. They think they're preventing the rise of a threat greater than anything the galaxy has faced. The Vrax fleet had grown to over 1,000 ships, their dark hulls blotting out the stars. But they weren't alone. Other species, fearful of what humanity might become, had joined them. The Assembly had fractured, split between those who wanted to destroy humanity and those who advocated for patience and understanding. But humanity wasn't waiting for their decision. The awakening had reached a critical point. Billions of human minds were now connected, sharing thoughts, memories, and abilities. Children born after the awakening were displaying powers that defied physical laws. They could manipulate matter with thought, perceive multiple dimensions, and even glimpse possible futures. Sarah herself had changed the most. Her prolonged exposure to both the observation posts and the architect's technology had accelerated her evolution. She could now perceive the quantum framework of reality itself, understanding the true nature of consciousness and its role in shaping the universe. The architects didn't just give us power, she shared through the network. They gave us purpose. We're meant to bridge the gap between physical existence and pure consciousness. But the revelation came with a warning. The architects hadn't vanished, they had evolved beyond the comprehension of physical beings. And they weren't the only ones. Other engineered species had been created before humanity, and not all of them had succeeded. Some had become twisted, trapped between physical form and transcendence. The Vrax knew this history. Their own civilization had nearly been destroyed by one such failed species. Their fear wasn't just about power, it was about preventing what they saw as the potential birth of cosmic horror. As if to emphasize this point, the Vrax launched their first full-scale assault. This time, they didn't target Earth. Their weapons struck Mars, attempting to destroy the architect's facility in the knowledge it contained. But humanity was ready. The collective consciousness that had started as a defensive shield had evolved into something far more powerful. Billions of minds working in perfect harmony could now manipulate the fabric of reality itself. Sarah led the defense, her enhanced consciousness coordinating the efforts of millions. The Vrak's weapons, powered by advanced technology, met a force powered by evolved consciousness itself. Energy beams were redirected through quantum tunnels. Matter was reorganized at the atomic level. Space itself seemed to bend around human thought. The battle reached its peak when Sarah discovered another gift from the architects, the ability to interface directly with technology. Through the collective consciousness, humanity took control of the Vrak's fleet's AI systems. Ships began powering down, their crews trapped in vessels that no longer responded to their commands. "You don't understand what you're becoming," Zin's desperate thoughts broadcasted across space. "The power you're wielding, it's not meant for physical beings. It will consume you, just as it consumed the others." But Sarah and the human collective could see what the Vraks couldn't. Humanity wasn't following the path of previous failed species. They were achieving something unique, a perfect balance between physical form and transcendent consciousness. As the Vrak's fleet retreated in disarray, the architect's AI revealed one final truth. Humanity's awakening wasn't just about their own species. It was about preparing for something larger. A threat that the architects had foreseen, one that would require a species that could bridge the gap between physical and cosmic existence. The real test was still to come. And now, humanity would have to decide how to use their newfound power, not just to defend themselves, but to fulfill the destiny the architects had designed them for. The convergence. The void between dimensions rippled with untold energies as Sarah and the human collective sensed it approaching, the threat the architects had prepared them for. It wasn't an alien force or a cosmic entity. It was something far more fundamental. The universe itself was becoming unstable. Multiple realities are beginning to collapse, the architect's AI warned through their shared consciousness. The barriers between dimensions are failing. This is what you were designed to prevent. Earth had changed dramatically in the months since the Vrak's retreat. Cities now floated on fields of psychic energy, their architecture defying physics as humanity's growing powers reshaped their environment. Children played in parks where reality itself bent to their imagination, while adults had learned to exist simultaneously in both physical and mental planes. But not all changes were visible. The human collective consciousness had evolved into something the architects had only theorized, a living quantum network that could perceive and influence the very fabric of existence. Sarah stood atop the New Geneva Spire, Earth's newly established center of galactic diplomacy. Below her, representatives from 1,000 alien species gathered to witness humanity's response to the crisis. Even the Vraks had returned, not as enemies, but as desperate allies seeking salvation. The collapse began eons ago, Sarah explained to the assembled representatives, her thoughts translating instantly into every known language. The architects discovered that consciousness itself was the only force that could maintain the stability of reality. But pure consciousness, divorced from physical form, wasn't enough. They needed beings who could exist in both states. The evidence was now undeniable. Mysterious anomalies had been appearing across the galaxy, areas where physical laws simply ceased to function, where multiple realities bled into each other. The Assembly's most advanced technology could only delay the spread of these cosmic wounds. But humans, with their unique dual nature, could heal them. "This is why we were created," Sarah shared through the collective. Not as weapons or successors, but as guardians of reality itself. The demonstration that followed left even the most skeptical aliens in awe. Sarah, along with a group of awakened humans, approached one of the reality breaches that had appeared in Earth's orbit. Through their combined consciousness, they could perceive the quantum strings that held reality together, could see where they had frayed and broken. And they could repair them. The assembled aliens watched as human consciousness wove through the quantum fabric of spacetime, their unique energy signature restoring stability to the breach. What the most advanced technology couldn't touch, human minds could mend. But the cost was immense. Each repair required incredible mental energy, and the breaches were appearing faster than they could be sealed. Humanity would need help. We understand now, Commander Zinn addressed the assembly, his earlier hostility replaced with grim acceptance. The architects didn't just create humans to be guardians. They created them to show the rest of us the way. Sarah nodded. The architect's final gift wasn't just for humanity, it was for all physical species. Through humanity's example, other races could learn to awaken their own dormant potential, to evolve beyond pure physical existence without losing their connection to it. The Great Awakening was spreading. Alien species that worked closely with humans began showing signs of similar abilities. The collective consciousness was expanding, incorporating new perspectives and ways of perceiving reality that even the architects hadn't imagined. But time was running out. The collapse was accelerating, and even with humanity's powers, they couldn't be everywhere at once. They needed to implement the architect's final protocol, the convergence. It will change everything, Sarah warned the assembly. Every species, every civilization. We'll have to evolve together or watch reality itself unravel. The choice was clear, but the path would be difficult. Some species would resist the change, fearing the loss of their identity. Others would embrace it too quickly, risking the same fate as the failed species of the past. Humanity would have to guide them all, teaching what they had learned about balancing physical existence with transcendent consciousness. The very force that had made the galaxy fear them would now be their greatest gift to all species. As the assembly debated the protocol, Sarah and the human collective sensed another breach forming, larger than any before. The final test was approaching, one that would require not just humanity's power, but the combined evolution of all species to overcome. The true purpose of the architect's plan was about to be revealed, and with it, the ultimate destiny of all conscious life in the universe. The final evolution. The greatest reality breach in the history of the universe loomed before them, a vast tear in the fabric of existence that stretched from Earth's orbit to the edge of the solar system. Through humanity's expanded consciousness, they could see what the breach truly was, not just a failure of physical laws, but a window into the space between universes. Sarah stood at the helm of Unity, the massive space station that now served as the center of the Convergence project. Around her, representatives of every spacefaring race worked in perfect harmony, their minds linked through the expanded human collective consciousness. The Vraks worked alongside humans, their former fears transformed into determined cooperation. Even the most resistant species had joined the effort when they realized the true scale of the threat. The breach is showing us something the architects knew, Sarah shared through the now galaxy-wide consciousness network. Reality isn't just unstable, it's evolving. The universe itself is trying to achieve a new state of existence. The architect's AI confirmed her insight. The collapse wasn't a breakdown of reality, but a metamorphosis. The universe was attempting to evolve beyond the separation of physical and conscious existence. But without guidance, this evolution would destroy everything in the process. That's where humanity's true purpose became clear. They weren't just meant to repair reality, they were meant to guide its transformation. We are the bridge, Sarah explained, her consciousness resonating with billions of minds across the galaxy. Not just between physical and transcendent states, but between what the universe is and what it's trying to become. The final stage of the architect's plan was revealing itself. Through humanity's example, all conscious species were learning to exist in both physical and transcendent states. But this was just the beginning. The convergence wasn't just about saving the current universe, it was about helping it give birth to something entirely new. As if in response to this realization, the breach began to pulse with impossible energies. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as the moment of truth approached. Everyone, take your positions, Sarah commanded through the network. Remember your training. Remember what we are together. The combined consciousness of humanity and their alien allies gathered their strength. Trillions of minds working as one, each contributing their unique perspective and abilities to the whole. The Vraks brought their understanding of cosmic architecture, the crystalline Hellas their knowledge of quantum harmonics, and countless other species added their own insights and powers. Sarah led them all, her evolved consciousness serving as the focal point for the greatest coordinated act in the history of life itself. They weren't fighting the breach anymore, they were working with it, guiding the universe's natural evolution toward a stable new state of existence. The transformation began slowly at first, then with increasing speed. Physical laws didn't so much break as transcend themselves. Matter and energy, space and time, consciousness and reality, all began to merge and reform into something entirely new. Through it all, humanity and their allies maintained their dual nature, existing simultaneously in the old reality and the emerging new one. They were the anchors, the guides, the midwives to a cosmic rebirth. The process took what might have been hours or eons, time itself had become fluid. When it was done, the universe had changed forever. But unlike the failures the architects had foreseen, this change was stable, guided, and full of limitless potential. The new reality wasn't a formless void of pure consciousness, nor was it bound by the rigid laws of physical existence. It was something unprecedented, a state where consciousness and physical reality were one and the same, where thought and matter danced together in endless creation. Sarah opened her eyes to see a universe transformed. The space station around her hadn't vanished, but it had evolved, becoming a living synthesis of technology and consciousness. The beings around her still had physical forms, but they were now expressions of will rather than limitations of flesh. "We've done it," Commander Zinn's thoughts merged seamlessly with the collective. "We've become what the architects hoped we could be." But Sarah and humanity could sense that this wasn't an ending, it was a beginning. The architects hadn't just planned for the evolution of one universe. Through the breaches, they could sense other realities, other universes approaching their own moments of transformation. "This is why we were created," Sarah shared with the galaxy-wide consciousness. "Not just to save our universe, but to become guides for others." The architects knew they couldn't guide this evolution themselves, they were too far removed from physical existence. They needed beings who could maintain that crucial balance, who could remember what it meant to be both physical and transcendent. As if in response to her words, new breaches began to appear, not tiers of destruction, but gateways of opportunity. Through them, they could sense other universes, other realities approaching their own moments of evolution. Humanity had fulfilled its original purpose, but in doing so, they had discovered an even greater destiny. They would be the teachers, the guides, the helpers for countless other realities as they underwent their own transformations. The species that had once been feared as a threat to the galaxy had become something far more, guardians not just of one universe, but of the endless dance of creation itself. And this was just the beginning.